Hey, I'm Nick May from The Business Brush. Today we're going to be talking about how to start a painting business in your first 60 days. Stay tuned. All right, so lots of people start businesses different ways, but I'm going to tell you today how I started my painting business over 20 years ago. I was sitting in Cubeland. Yeah, Cubeland. You know, you have the little box and walls and somebody's sitting on the other side. And I didn't like it. I had to be there from 8 in the morning till, I don't know, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was driving me crazy. So I decided I was gonna start a painting business again. I'd done it in college. Now, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have social media, we didn't have all that stuff. We were still using like real phones. I had a cell phone, but that's how old it is. That's how old I am. And the first thing I did was I started to market my painting business. I did flyers. This was before, obviously, U-Printing, which is the company we use now for postcards and door hangers and all that kind of stuff. But we went out and I did a lot of door flyers. The other thing I started to do is I started to network with real estate agents. Now, I got more sophisticated as the years went on, but those were mainly the first two things that I did. And I told people that I knew. I told everybody. And to be honest, one of my very first jobs was for my boss at the old company that I worked for. So you never know where those first couple of jobs are going to come from. Don't be shy. Be excited. Tell people you're excited about going into painting. And I do remember one of my parents' friends telling me, Nick, why would you do that? There are so many painters. And I said, I'm just going to do things different. I had experienced moving into a house and having contractors come to my house and how disappointed I was the way they worked in my house and how they didn't clean up and all that kind of stuff. So I knew that I was going to do things differently. So it didn't discourage me that somebody said, why would you do that? Because you will definitely have people when you say you're going to start a painting business, why would you do that? You have to be confident. Now, when you first start your painting business, it can be overwhelming. There are so many things that you have to do. So your 60 days is actually 30 days before you start your business and 60 days after. So sorry if I misled you. So in your first 30 days, you really need to be a planner. You need to get organized. And the more organized you are on the front end, the easier it's going to be on the back end and the less overwhelmed you will feel when you're actually doing this thing full time. So you want to make a list of all of the things that you need to do to start the business, and then make a list of all the things that you need to do on a regular basis. And one of the things that, if you've followed me for any amount of time, you've heard me say ABM, always be marketing. There's a video on it. Go check it out. So what we can do now is not only do the door flyers, because I think door flyers are the easiest and cheapest thing. And when you are first brand new out of the box, you have more time than money. And so what you want to do, unless you have a big pile of cash sitting in the corner that you're using to help start your painting business, you want to get those door flyers out. And so every weekend, every evening, you should be hitting those prime neighborhoods that you want to be working in. The other thing I want you to be doing in the pre-30 days is start your Facebook page and your Instagram page. That way it can start to get traction, you can start to load content, because it takes a while for people to start following you. Invite your friends. That's how we started our Facebook page. Now we have, I think, over 9,000 followers, but we started just like you. We started with just me. So then you've launched your painting business, and you need to really organize your days so that you can be on site and do production, but you also have to allow for time to do estimates. And one of the things I always recommend to guys that are brand new is I want you to do time blocking. Now, time blocking is something that you set time aside to do specific activities. And so what I don't want you to do is get a phone call from a potential customer and they say, hey, I'd like to get an estimate. And you're like, I'm going to be over there in 2 hours. Don't do that. What I want you to do is let them know what times are available. Customers don't know what your schedule is. So I want you to set up time, let's say 2 time periods during the week in the afternoon and evening, and then Saturdays should be left for doing estimates. So let's say you set up for Tuesday afternoons, so your earliest appointment is, let's say, 3:30. So you're going to work on the job site until 3, go clean up, and get to your first estimate at 3:30. You could probably do 2 or 3 appointments on Tuesday, and then you could do them also on Thursday. But that way, you're able to focus on those jobs when you're on the job, and then focus on the new potential customer when you're there at their house giving them an estimate. And then Saturdays, don't have the guys working. just set that time aside for doing estimates. If you don't have estimates in those times, then you always have a stack of door flyers or something that you can go and do some marketing in those times. So it's already blocked out. Don't go home. You need to be working about 60 hours a week at least when you first start your painting business. In those first 60 days, really in your first year, you're laying the foundation, you're laying the baseline of what your business is going to do. And if you really attack it and hit it hard, you won't have a hard time getting work. Your biggest problem will be, how do I keep up with the work that I have? Now, we have a ton of videos on all sorts of marketing, so I'm not gonna go into all that, but start with the easy stuff. Start with the things that don't cost you very much money. Again, unless you have a big pile of cash sitting in the corner that you've decided to earmark for marketing in your business plan. So by the time you start your business, I want you to make sure that you have at least a month and a half of work already booked out. And you can't stop marketing, you can't stop doing those estimates. You have to continue to make sure that the work is coming in. Hey, thanks for watching me today. Would you do me a favor? Would you give me a comment below on this? Are you starting a new business? What's your plan? I'd love to hear it. Would you also make sure that you're subscribed to the channel? And would you please share this on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn? Hey, I'm Nick May from The Business Brush. We'll see you soon.